Let's go ahead and start recording.
All right, cool. Ready.
So I'm Chang, and
I'm Nick. Yeah,
yeah,
nice to meet you. You can call me Nikola, but you
yeah,
will call me Nick. It's
I get
easier.
okay. I'll
So
call you Nick.
where are you?
Where are you at?
Yeah, where are you?
Oh, I'm
I'm in
at
Columbus.
Columbus, like Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm in
hmm
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, you're close by.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
thinking is
so.
Columbus also Eastern time?
Yeah, yeah, it's Eastern time zone. Yeah, or
Hmm.
yeah, Nashville is a little bit. I think Nashville is Pacific. It's 1 hour ahead or behind, something like that.
Yeah, and that
Nashville
Nashville is
is because a lot of
central.
folks are. So what do you do?
Right now, I'm a data scientist at Lowe's Home Improvement. So most recently, doing a lot of computer vision, and the latest
Oh,
project
that's
is
pretty
like, oh
cool.
yeah, what can we do with coronavirus? Because everybody's dealing with coronavirus, and looks like we'll have
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
that's
looks
fair.
like we have something. We just need to work with people to
Oh,
get it
really?
out
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, but part of my, I'm not combed enough. Well, because I don't have my hairdresser is all the hairdressers closed in Ohio, so I can't take a haircut. But so pardon my hair being a mess, but that's pretty awesome. I've been trying to figure out how can I help with a lot of those efforts. A few like open source things I can contribute, and yeah, but computer vision is pretty cool. I always wanted to do more computer vision, but I never had to do
Hmm.
it. You know, beyond like a course.
Hmm.
But I do a lot of. So I'm in a startup called Script Drop, and
Hmm.
what we do is we deliver medications to patients. And as you can
Hmm.
imagine, right now it's pretty hectic. Like there's a lot of demand, which is good. But usually, what I do is I we were just starting a lot of our machine learning efforts, and I did a bunch of like predictive models to predict certain internal things. So nothing super fancy, but I did use neural networks,
Hmm.
which actually performed a lot better than like not a lot, but they performed better than like XGBoost and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That was kind of cool. So I do machine learning. I do a little bit of security work, but right now because we're trying to scale as fast as we can. I'm just trying to help however I can. Um,
Hmm.
so I do. I come from a software engineering background, so I've been doing that for forever since I was like 14.
Oh
So,
wow.
so so that was a long time ago. But like in the past year, 2 years, past year and a half, I'd say I've been doing machine learning stuff.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool.
And so
Yeah. So
like,
what are you?
oh, go ahead.
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
I feel
I
there's a
forgot what I
little
was going to
delay,
say.
so
So
it's like
never mind.
like we maybe we're thinking about like similar things. So you'll be asking a question, I'll be asking a question, which is like I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think it happened already a few times where I'm like, where I am, like I asked a question and you asked the same question right back, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So what do you So what tools do you use? Like what's your what type of like do you use TensorFlow? Do you use PyTorch? What do you guys use?
Um, our team stack was TensorFlow, although I always feel like our stack is pretty fluid, as in like whatever gets the job done. And uh, after evaluating like computer vision stuff, I only started this project about 4 months ago, and the whole company doesn't have pretty much have has nothing internal built for this, and now I'm using mostly PyTorch and also evaluating a little bit of
That's been a trend.
Fast AI, because I think if Fast AI has a really slick API if you're just trying stuff out and doing experiments. So I would say
Very true.
PyTorch plus fast AI, and then a lot of OpenCV.
I mean, yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
and for
That's
like
pretty
the
cool.
data pipeline, like we're still not sure yet because like the data is like hard to get. So at this point, we're probably dumping it to our Hadoop server. We cannot put it on cloud because of a lot of
Yeah.
interesting reasons. If you have Big Brother computer vision, as in like, hey, like we're recording you in the stores and we're putting in cloud, I think it will go take a little while to
Uh,
understand what we need to put that on cloud.
yeah. That doesn't rub me off, right? Yeah, no. I mean, as soon as you said that, I was like, oof. But I'm also like, I think I'm also like a very, I hang out like a lot with the infosec people,
Mm-hmm.
and when you hang out with those type of groups, like you care a lot about data privacy,
Mm-hmm.
where stuff goes, and um, but that makes sense. I feel like I use a lot of fast AI plus PyTorch combos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as good as at PyTorch as I would like to be. Like from scratch PyTorch
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean, I can get by probably if
Mm-hmm.
you give me enough time, but I do rely a lot on like just fast experimentation. It's later. And we don't have like a super fancy data pipeline either.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just again, we're just starting a lot of our machine learning efforts, so we don't have. But I'm of the opinion that start simple, build a few Flask apps that
Mm-hmm.
like connect things together,
Mm-hmm.
and then put the data in the model, and then
Mm-hmm.
go from there. I guess like it's like a lot of things are just start small and whatever problem you're trying to solve, and then kind of
Mm-hmm.
go from there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's at least how I'm thinking about these things. It comes a lot from like my background of being a lot in startups where
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of have to make things work and worry about scale a little bit later. Not necessarily should be doing dumb things, but
It sounds like if you're trying to hey figure out like oh do I put my effort into making the code good versus to know if this is even a viable product, you will probably make sure it's a viable product first.
always, always. And me as a software engineer, like the more I've been doing data science, the worse my code is getting. That's one thing I've been noticing. Well, like by I wouldn't say exponentially. It's not growing. The word the how bad it is. It's not growing exponentially, but it's like it's not on a linear. It's almost linear. How bad? And I think that comes from like really wanting to experiment super fast
Mm-hmm.
and just like hammering out things and making go to production as fast as it can go and
Mm-hmm.
seeing if they work.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard about Elixir, but it's functional and people, write really decent code.
Uh huh.
Um, so when they see my Python code, it's like, oh my god, what is this? And I was like, well, it works. It's fine. It's not abstracted or perfect or whatever, but it's like it works. So I think that it's interesting because yeah, I found that it's not learning data science specifically though. It's more important to get work as to making it perfect
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
first time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I think about it.
That's kind of
And a lot
like
of times you don't even know
yeah.
if it's going to work because you can have perfect payments and you can have perfect test dev splits and all these things that you can have, and you score perfectly on your dev set or whatever, and like 90% accuracy,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden production comes and it's like it's crap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't know until you put it in production. At
No.
least that's how I think about it.
Yeah, and once we put in production, you might find like more important things than perfecting
Oh
the
yeah.
code itself. You might find, hey, I'm monitoring or understanding how data changes after a month is probably
Oh
more
yeah.
important
Well,
than things like that.
exactly. Exactly. And you realize like, oh crap, a lot of our images are just like really bad quality, and all of our training images are like 4K.
Yeah.
So like, what do we do about that? How are we going to train? Like stuff like that. I don't think you can find that out in your isolated like you know experiment driven environment
Mm-hmm.
until you like stuff that I like the stuff that I aspire to do is to do more of that, but in production, meaning like having tools and like SageMaker. I never use that in production really that much. I'm more of a Google guy,
Mm-hmm.
but having things dashboard set up in a way where I can see the data changing and I can train it on. What I'm trying to say is like having tools in production that would help me figure out when or things change. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, now they're taking images with this type of resolution and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot more important than having super clean things.
Mm-hmm.
Although over time, I do think that clean code is, that's the only way to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that should happen in time. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, the how do you call it? The operational side of
Move faster.
machine learning applications is still pretty unclear. But to me, like
Yeah,
I
MLOps
don't
is wild.
honestly like
Yeah,
know what's the best way to deal with the operational side of things.
because there's no best way. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no best way. Like you can build everything your own, or you can use weights and biases, or you can do something in between. Like weights and biases is this dashboard I never use, but everybody likes it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's cool. And but it just feels like there's a lot of there's just a lot out there. It's like it reminds me of like a JavaScript ecosystem. In JavaScript, nobody really knows what's going. I mean, at least it used to be like that. Don't hate me, JavaScript people. I love you, but when I used to write Ruby a lot, like
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago or something,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there was CoffeeScript, and then JavaScript was like becoming popular, like Angular or React. Or Angular was back in the day, but
Mm-hmm.
React came in later. And as soon as React hit, there's this like JavaScript for 5 years. There was nobody knew how to really scale the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was just like a wild west for a while until the community standardized, and now there's usually like good rules of thumb on how to do things.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I see like ML ops. I don't think it's there yet. But you turn up here. There you go.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was
Yeah.
like you froze, so I tried to like turn on my camera to
Oh,
see if you come back, and then you came back. I think that's like Google is probably
maybe
throwing
my
a
internet.
lot of
Yeah,
traffic or something like that.
yeah,
Free users
that's
have
pretty
no
cool.
rights.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
So how big is your team?
our team is now we have about 60 data scientists or people with the title of data scientist.
Uh,
Yeah, and based on
okay,
what I
there's a
heard,
difference. Yeah.
yeah, based on what I heard, like because I know like when people when you call people data scientists, there are different things people do. So the our team is more like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
100%.
I guess our team is way more very development heavy and we don't deal with analytical reports or anything. Although we work like
That's pretty
figure
cool.
out how to get the reports better, but we don't handle the day to day.
Yeah. Analytics efforts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like and I work on different things. So yeah, like me, I'm just trying to help like people track coronavirus cases better because I mean we have cases and like so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Hmm.
I think that's pretty cool. Um, yeah. You were gonna say something before I interrupt you? What was that?
No, I think I was gonna say that when you say about scale, the whole thing, like it feels like JavaScript role where everything's like so fragmented and new stuff come in. I always feel like data science or like machine learning is like on top of like if you think about like building code, you need to have the technical kind of like ability at least to get some product out. But in data science or machine learning, there's a huge chunk of it is in the what I would call product risk, as in you don't actually know if your data can support your product.
you know,
and
yeah,
that's
that's true.
the
It's very
biggest
true.
question mark is in like, oh, like you feel like you have enough data, but you never know until you push it out. Hello, I'm gonna restart the call. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, you were cut off at you were saying a product cannot support your data. That's kind of where you start getting cut off.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like from what I saw, it's like always like, oh, somebody come up with ideas, say, hey, we can build this, and then you write some code, and then you throw the data like through your code, and then you find out like, okay, our data is crap. It's actually impossible. Like I've seen that multiple times, and now so like I would agree with you that like clean code is clean code is very very important because you want to be able to reuse code and develop faster, but most of the risk is in on the data side, at least from my experience.
Yeah, what was that last thing? Sorry, you got cut off again. At least the data side.
I think for developing machine learning products, most of
Yeah.
the risk lies on the data side and not on the code side.
No, yeah, that's very true. But also, I think, yeah, I think being able to execute the code side fast
Hmm.
helps a lot. Not, if you don't have to worry about it as much.
Right.
Like for me, as somebody who has a software engineering background, I can spit out MVP type of products all day long
Hmm.
without a lot of issues.
Hmm.
Pretty fast. I mean, fast, not super fast, but like reasonable time. I can build API on
Hmm.
my own without any external tools,
Hmm.
right? Because I've been doing that for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, Having the ability to do that really fast and not worry about coding as much really
Right.
helped me focus on data science.
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. But on the other hand, like people who came from a statistical backgrounds have a lot more comfortable with that part of data science as opposed to deploying things and coding things
Hmm.
because that's what it did for
Hmm.
4 years.
Yeah, I feel like the having like being a okay, just making sure I'm not cut out.
No, you're good.
Like being able to
Yeah,
like
internet has been pretty spotty.
yeah, being able to write like code and like iterate fast. Like I'm thinking about like the iteration is at the almost at the
Yeah,
project level. So you want to say, okay, I want to try this project out. If it doesn't work out, just throw it away. And like in my experience, very easy to
yeah,
people fall in love with their project, and so they dive into a project
it's
too
hard.
deep before jumping into another one. That's way more promising because, for example, like there's much better data or like much better use case or something like that.
Exactly. No, I think like you should de-risk things first and make sure you
Hmm.
can do them before you actually do them,
Hmm.
right? You should make sure, yes, we have enough data to build a computer vision model that's going to be 95% accuracy and do exactly what we want, or we
Hmm.
don't. Like, do we invest time in building a better data pipeline so we can invest more in this product, or do we build another product?
Hmm.
That's, yeah, those are the questions that I think people have a hard time answering because they're attached to products emotionally, which is normal. I mean, I am sometimes, so
What is it like to
agree with that.
build machine learning stuff?
Cheers.
Cheers. What is it like to build machine learning products or software in a startup? I never work in a startup, so I'm curious.
Uh, I mean, I did that in two startups. So
I heard you said I built in two startups and then you cut out.
the hierarchy that I have to go through Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard that you said I built in two startups and then you cut out. I didn't hear
Yeah.
anything
So
afterwards.
yeah, so I was in like two startups that I built something for machine learning, but I like it because it's pretty fun. You can build things pretty fast. I'm responsible for building almost the whole thing out,
Mm,
um, and it's that gives you a lot of control, but also like you have to be very. I think you have to think about product a lot and make sure that you're building the right thing.
mm,
Oh, right. Because not always people don't always have understanding of like what is machine learning and how does it work.
hmm
I think it's my responsibility to explain that to people.
I'm gonna
So
I'm gonna turn off the camera for a minute, see if the audio improves a little more.
it's really I do wish that I have focus on building models.
Hmm
If you're in a bigger organization, you can do that. But I think startups, you have to be more agile and be able to wear different hats all the time. So
hmm
that's as much of a upside, as much as that's an upside, that's also a downside.
hmm
If that makes any sense.
it sounds more like a probably fit for different type of people.
Oh, sorry, you got cut off again. What was that?
No, I was saying that, like you said, it could be upside or downside depending on your probably personality or where you want to be in your career.
Very true. Yes, very true. It depends on it's exactly that. It depends on what you want to do in your career, or where you at in your career. I guess that's really what is it all about.
Hmm
And I think it's fun. At least where I'm at right now, it's super fun. So it definitely has bad days, good days, everything. But I would startups in general bring a unique challenge to I think to conquer. And if you do think about joining a startup, I would highly recommend thinking about it first, why you're doing it,
hmm
and not just jumping on a hype train because they are hard sometimes.
How do you know like if a startup
7 or 8
like
at
how do
this
you know
point,
if a
and
startup? I guess what's your criteria when you say you join a startup? What is your criteria?
I think a good rule of thumb is there's a few things that I look at is funding first. Like how many like did they go through Series A? I'm gonna shut off my camera just because it might help
Okay,
bandwidth.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I think the first thing I look at is how are they going to like the funding part of it is really important to me.
Mhm.
Like for the investors, which are the Series A, Series B, Series C funded, they planning to exit? Are they planning to IPO? Who's on the board? What's the history of those investors? I sometimes tend to go really deep in those things because that's what's driving the company for a long period of time until they
hmm
become profitable, which is usually like X amount of years.
hmm
Depends on the product. So that's the first thing I look at. Second thing I look at is, do I like the people that are leading it, and can I stand behind those people, and will those people help me be a better leader?
hmm
I think that's the second thing that I really look at, and it's not really in that order. It's all of them at the same time, I guess. And then the third one is, do I really think the product is worth it, and does it make sense to build that product?
hmm
So that's what I look at a startup. But it's one of those things that you don't know what you don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of startups fail. Like 1 in 10 succeed.
hmm
So that's no 1 in 10 make it to Series A, which is like the first big round of funding.
hmm
Um, It depends on where you live, but probably like over 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's obviously like, I'm not a VC guru, so don't take that with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean that's true. Different companies have different funding rounds. But yeah, that's kind of how I would approach startups. And me personally, where I'm at with my career, I think like I feel like for me, there's a certain amount of startups you can do in your lifetime, and some people can do them forever. But I think my scale is more finite, and I think you can do only so much. And I'm definitely, I've been at startups for a long time. I probably have a few more really good tries at me, and after that, probably take a little break from startups. Doesn't mean I'm never going to do them again, but it's just something that it's pretty significant. It takes you invest a lot of your life into, and it takes a long time to with a high risk, high failure probability type of thing.
It's a high risk, high reward situation.
It is very high risk, high reward. Yeah. And the goal is for you to minimize the risk as much as you can. So if you're joining a startup, I would approach it as you're joining like a CEO, even though you're joining like an individual contributor, and you're trying to figure out like, okay, what are the things that I would think about if I'm CEO of this business, and what is important. But also keep in mind, you don't know the questions you need to ask off the first bat. Like if you're to your first startup, you just don't have enough experience to think about these things. I think, so it's okay to be wrong when you first start up. You just have to learn. And I mean, there's books. There are a lot of books, but I found that, even if you read all the books, it's still doing the thing that's really hard. So as with anything, really, right?
As in pretty much everything.
It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to. I got to go in 4 minutes here, but yeah. What are your thoughts on startups? Like, how do you feel about your career and where you're at?
I'm less in a stage where I'm thinking about startup, more along the line of side projects, as in like, what can I do to, let's say, provide another income stream.
Yeah, more of a passive income type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like passive income is never passive.
Yeah, it's sketchy. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
But it's more the idea of like, hey, you like if you never build something for yourself, then you'll always be an employee.
No,
and you're always listening to somebody else's call. And
very true.
Given that there are so many interesting problems in the world to solve, they'll like I'm at the point of like, all right, like what can we do? Like what can me plus a few people do? Things like that. So start small, see what happens.
I think there's a big difference between building a lifestyle business and building a startup. And building a startup focused business. Like one is, chasing a hockey stick, shove a bunch of money into a product, as opposed to building a business that sustains itself. And the older I get, the more I like the lifestyle business approach. And I think it comes with going through a few of VC funded startups. It's just, I think there are trade-offs on both ends. And it's just, what you're talking about, I think, is more of a side project, something that can go into a lifestyle business where, it pays you and your friends, and you can just do that full time or something, as opposed to, I think that's fair. And there's a lot of good lifestyle, like Basecamp is one of the lifestyle businesses that's really good. They're making millions of dollars, and it's, just, they don't have any big investors. They don't have, it just started as a side project.
I didn't know they started a side project.
I think they did. I think they started as a, and don't quote me on that. I might be completely wrong, but from what I remember, DHH was like they had this agency, right? 47 Signals,
Yeah.
and they just built it for their clients or something. I might be wrong. Maybe they, or they were just like, oh, this is an interesting problem to solve, and let's just try this out. But I know they're not. The one thing that I think is true is that they're not like they don't have a lot of VC money or they don't have huge injection. They were just kind of growing on their own
Mm-hmm.
naturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they could do that because I think they had a consulting gig on the side that was maintaining the cash flow
Mm-hmm.
while they're building the thing. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like
yeah,
where I
but that's pretty cool,
am.
man. That's pretty cool, though. I'm all up for that. I don't think um, people think that the VC funded startup world is a lot more fun. From being inside of something like that, people think it's this super cool fun thing with ping pong tables and water fountains or whatever, and they watch Silicon Valley, and it's like and there are some of course there've been fun parts, but to close out, I guess there's a lot of really hard moments in a startup and a lot of really hard decisions, and it's not as fun as it looks like on the outside.
Mm.
That's one thing to keep in mind. It's just that, and again, this is my perspective and it highly varies on a lot of startups. Yours might be completely different, but it's always, there's a lot of hard decisions, a lot of hard moments, I think, in the startup. And those type of things, for some people, might just not be worth it.
Mm.
Not that they're not smart enough to do it, it just might not make any sense. And they might just do it for the hype. And I'd highly urge to think about those things and kind of figure out what you want to do.
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm going to close it off here because I have to go. But it was nice chatting with you. Definitely should do it again. I'm thinking about doing these morning coffees randomly whenever I can. So, I wonder what people are going to say since we recorded it. I'm curious to see other people's opinions on these topics.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be cool. I think like what Steven said, like everybody's working from home these days. There's nothing to stop us. Like people definitely miss the being able to go out and
Oh,
meet
I
people.
love talking to you, by the way. Yeah. Like whenever I'm talking to somebody that's not from my household, I'm so excited. Um,
Yeah,
I love people in my household, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, it's fun to talk to other people.
it is.
So, all right, man, I'm going to go. Thank you for the conversation. This was awesome. Let me
Thanks,
know when you
Nick.
post it. I can maybe share with my coworkers. But other than that, thank you so much.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.